Great. Well, my name is Prescott Sherrod, and what I want to do is, a couple minutes, about 5 minutes. I just want to take a couple minutes to introduce myself and tell you who I am and where I'm from. I am originally from the city of Suffolk, right down the road here where I grew up, and from there, went to college in Petersburg, Virginia, to go to college, where I got a BS degree from Virginia State University and got a master's degree from the George Washington University. I went to work as a defense and transportation, went to work as a defense contractor, and in my early years, doing a lot of design work for communication systems, shipboard and shore-based systems, and at that time, after 7 years or so, found myself unemployed, and in doing so, of course, trying to find a job was very, very difficult. So I couldn't really find a job. So what I had to do was kind of change my focus from trying to find a job to trying to find work. Hence, I ended up starting my own company called PIMCO. And PIMCO is a defense and transportation contracting firm located here in Virginia Beach. And we have presence in Northern Virginia and in New York City. In terms of city council, I've actually worked as a volunteer for the city for about 9 years, starting at the Minority Business Council, and I have to say that now Delegate Ron Villanueva, who's here, actually gave me that appointment back in the early 2000s, and he also gave me the appointment to the Development Authority as well. And since then, I've actually been on the Sheriff's Mental Health Advisory Committee, as well as the General Counsel for Technical and Career Education. So I've worked with the city, and I understand how the city operates, and I have some relationships with city staff and know who they are. So I think that's given me a good opportunity to position myself for council. I wanted to be on council and also therefore run for council because of my background as a businessman, I enjoy solving problems. I enjoy identifying those challenges and finding solutions. And because this is a really, really good city, it's a great city in fact, and I want to bring the city together, all of us together, so we can move forward, not move backwards. We want to take an opportunity to do the best we can to get the best government we can get. We want to make smart decisions, those kinds of decisions that will allow us to position ourselves for the future, for tomorrow. We want to get everybody a voice, bring everybody to the table, and have a shared interest in the future of this city. I believe in Virginia Beach as pro-business, of course. Balancing budgets without raising taxes, but just making smart decisions. Smart decisions and good investments. I believe in safe neighborhoods. I believe that police, fire, rescue personnel should have the best tools they possibly need to do their jobs well. And I think they should be constantly rewarded for that, reminded how much we appreciate what they do. I believe in education. I believe that education is the pathway to our success. We have to definitely make sure that we sort of do the proper succession planning to make sure that here in the future that we have a sustainable, long-lasting, good city. I believe these things are very good for the city, and they're the kinds of things I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about taking something and actually watching it grow. So I believe that this election, my election here, really not necessarily about me. It's about us. I think that we can succeed if we don't divide ourselves into classes. I think my campaign has the greatest opportunity to bring together diverse positions, opinions, regardless of any special interest group. And I think with that sort of participation and inclusion, I believe that we can maximize the city's potential. And for that, I look to you for your help, your support. Support me, your vote on November the 8th, and allow me to continue to do those things that I just talked about. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Freeland.
Good evening. I think most of you know me. I'm Dennis Free. I spent 27 years working the streets with about half of you. I spent the last 3 years or 4 years working the hallways of the jail with the other half of you. And at this point in my career, people ask me, why am I running for office? Why do I want to run for office now? And that's a very fair question, and you should ask that of everyone who wants to run. And what I remember when I started out on this journey in law enforcement, protecting these great citizens as you did, and when I took that oath that you took, I always knew that the citizens of Virginia Beach had my back. I always knew they took care of me. They would look after my family if I was ever hurt, and they would look after me. This was a great place to raise my son and to raise my family. And now I want to give something back to those great citizens of the city of Virginia Beach. And that's why I'm running. What I believe in is we need to focus on the core of government. We need to focus on public safety. We need to focus on education of our children. We need to focus on low taxes and a business-friendly environment to attract the businesses here that we need. And we also need to focus on a policy that maintains and develops our infrastructure to make this the great city that we have today. The challenge for us now is that the economic downturn is very long-lasting, and it has definitely hit all of us very difficult, especially those in law enforcement. Our challenge is also an opportunity. This is our opportunity to change how government works. We can't just make it smaller. Then we'll just have a smaller version of what we have now, which is trying to do a little too much, which isn't focusing on the basics. And that is one of the key things I want to see changed. I've worked with all of you out here, and I've seen many good ideas. I know that how we can change our organizations comes not from just the top down, but from the bottom up. And we do that at the Sheriff's Office. You know, the suggestions that our employees make are just as valuable to us as the suggestion that the Sheriff himself makes. They're all good, and they all come together to make us into a high-performing organization. There's another reason that I want to run, and the reason is in this room. All of us know the importance of a backup when you get that bad call or you're rolling up the jail to that bad fight. And you know it's important to have a good backup there. I'm that backup. I'm the one that knows what you've been through. I'm the one that shared your experiences and have the knowledge to know how to protect you and to protect what you need, and to get the city to keep its promise to make it a place where we are supported. Always remember that I will be your backup on City Council. And I think it's very important that we have someone on City Council who understands intimately public safety and its role and how to improve public safety, including supporting the fine men and women who choose to take this oath and so graciously and courageously serve our citizens. Thank you, and thank you for your support.
Well, good evening. I know I'm not a stranger to many of you in here. I got some brochures here. I'm running in this race because of those kids right over there. Now, we've had a good ride. We've left the big bill. And the thing is, how do we make sure that our children have it as good as we do? That talks a lot about financial management, a lot about resource management. And that's all I talked to Chris, the governor. It's all about the private sector jobs that generate the income that makes government possible. So we need to eliminate the B-poll tax, the professional occupational business tax, to bring business and jobs. We need to work with the legislature to help endorse that versus fight it, because other communities are doing it. We need to do everything we can to lower the cost, to bring jobs here and allow people to grow jobs, because private sector jobs generate the income that makes government possible. And the Department of Defense is not going to be the job and revenue machine over the next decade. We can't look for defense boom to bail us out and create the revenue streams. The city's $100 million short. And Dennis talked about people being at your back. I've been at every public hearing since 2000 talking about public safety. I've been at every public hearing since 2006 talking about pay compression. That's just a lack of will, not a lack of money. We just recently gave a 2.5% pay raise across the board. If public safety is our highest priority, why wasn't our first problem to solve? But it wasn't. Some other problems were first. $35 million for the convention hotel didn't go through yet, but there's always something more important. I came and spoke about e-ticket because I know it's about 9 cops, and every cop said, gosh, right after an accident, I got to fill out this paperwork, this paperwork, this paperwork, many times. Where's the e-ticket? Still don't have e-ticket, but we can have a $11 million dog shelter. This is what people have to talk about. We have plenty of resources to take care of the things that are important. When I'm just sharing with you, I just didn't say this yesterday, I just didn't say it last week. I have always been on the front lines, in or out of government, talking about the needs of public safety. People have come to you and talked about public safety, been elected, and then done nothing about it once they got there. They do it every year. You have to ask yourself, something's got to change. You've got to have an advocate. I truly understand compensation. I put a little point paper on the table about pay compression. I worked 33 years in the United States military. Worked for Admiral Harvey and OCNAV, and all I did was personnel pay policy for the whole Navy for 2.5 years. I know how to do public safety, national security compensation. Fixing pay compression is just the symptom. We need to structurally deal with the wholeness and the health of what we call the force structure, something that's sustainable over time. And when people tell you, oh, we just can't raise taxes, you never have to raise taxes for your highest priority, which is first public safety, second education. You do have to raise taxes for the things that most citizens don't want, and that's why they always put the boogie on your back and the schools, oh, we got to raise taxes for school. No. The first thing we pay after debt service, you always got to pay debt service first in the Ron and Frisco, but after debt service, first public safety, then education, and everything else is discretionary to some extent, and that's where the budget is going to have to be balanced. But I really want to stress, my real thrust is to work with the delegates and the council to make Virginia Beach the Hong Kong of Virginia in terms of a place to start and do business, because what we need is a robust private sector to pay the revenues so that we can take care of our city employees and our school board employees, because without it, we're all on a tough downhill road. And that's what I want to reverse, is the road we're on, a road where the private sector grows and generates the revenue so we can all get healthy together. I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.